On Tuesday, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau made a firm declaration regarding the potential imposition of 25% tariffs on Canadian imports by U.S. President Donald Trump, an action that Trump suggested could take effect as soon as February. Trudeau emphasized that Canada would respond decisively to any such tariffs, indicating that the government is prepared to take significant measures in defense of its economic interests. Canada will respond and everything is on the table, Trudeau asserted during a news conference. He elaborated that Ottawa's reaction would be characterized as robust, rapid, and measured, signaling a commitment to a strategic approach. Importantly, he noted that Canada would implement countermeasures that would match the U.S. tariffs on a dollar-for-dollar basis, indicating a willingness to engage in tit-for-tat actions that could escalate tensions between the two countries. The Prime Minister's comments were made during a cabinet retreat aimed at devising strategies for navigating the complex challenges posed by the new Trump administration. The retreat served as a platform for Trudeau and his cabinet members to assess the economic threats emanating from the United States and to formulate a cohesive response that would protect Canadian interests. The potential for tariffs has been a significant concern for Canada, given the extensive economic ties between the two nations. The United States is Canada's largest trading partner, with billions of dollars in goods and services exchanged daily. The imposition of such tariffs would not only disrupt trade, but could also have dire repercussions for Canadian industries reliant on exports to the U.S. The auto, lumber, and agricultural sectors, in particular, could face severe challenges if tariffs were enacted. Trudeau's strong stance reflects the urgency felt by Canadian officials as they prepare for a potentially tumultuous period in U.S.-Canada relations. The unpredictability of the Trump administration's trade policies has forced Canada to adopt a more proactive approach, anticipating moves that could jeopardize its economic stability. To fully understand the implications of Trudeau's remarks, it is essential to consider the historical context of trade relations between Canada and the United States. The two countries have enjoyed a long-standing partnership characterized by mutual dependence and cooperation. However, recent years have seen increasing tension, particularly with the advent of Trump's America First agenda, which prioritizes U.S. interests and often undermines the collaborative spirit that has defined U.S.-Canada trade. The renegotiation of the North American Free Trade Agreement (NAFTA) into the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement (USMCA) exemplifies this shift. While the new agreement maintained many aspects of the original NAFTA, it also introduced measures that aim to protect American industries, often at the expense of Canadian economic interests. This backdrop sets the stage for the current tariff threats, as Canada grapples with the consequences of a more protectionist U.S. trade policy. Should the U.S. follow through on its threat to impose tariffs, the economic ramifications for Canada could be significant. Tariffs would lead to increased costs for Canadian exporters, making their products less competitive in the U.S. market. This could result in reduced sales, lower revenues, and potentially job losses within affected industries. The automobile sector, which has deep supply chain ties with the U.S., could be particularly vulnerable, as could industries reliant on agricultural exports. Furthermore, the retaliatory measures that Trudeau has promised would likely lead to a cycle of escalation, where both countries impose tariffs on each other's goods. This tit-for-tat strategy could result in a full-blown trade war, with ramifications extending beyond the immediate economic impacts. Such conflicts often lead to uncertainty in the market, deterring investment and hindering economic growth. Trudeau's commitment to a robust and rapid response indicates a strategic approach to addressing the challenges posed by the Trump administration. By framing Canada's response as measured yet strong, Trudeau aims to demonstrate to both domestic and international audiences that Canada will not back down in the face of economic aggression. This stance is crucial for maintaining public confidence and support, particularly among Canadians who may be concerned about the potential fallout from U.S. trade policies. The cabinet retreat was an opportunity for Trudeau's administration to align its messaging and strategies, ensuring that all members of the government are on the same page regarding the potential trade conflict. Such unity is essential for effectively communicating Canada's position to both the U.S. administration and the Canadian public. While Trudeau's rhetoric is important for demonstrating resolve, it is equally crucial for Canada to engage in diplomatic efforts to mitigate the risks associated with potential tariffs. Diplomatic channels can be instrumental in finding common ground and addressing concerns before they escalate into full-blown conflicts. Engaging with U.S. officials, business leaders, and trade representatives can help foster a dialogue that may lead to a more favorable outcome for Canada. Canada has a history of successful diplomacy, and leveraging these relationships could prove beneficial. By emphasizing the importance of economic interdependence and the mutual benefits of open trade, Canadian officials can work to persuade U.S. counterparts to reconsider the implementation of tariffs. Public sentiment in Canada will also play a significant role in shaping the response to any potential tariffs. Canadians are likely to be closely monitoring the developments in U.S.-Canada trade relations, and their reactions could influence the government's approach. If public opinion strongly favors a robust response to U.S. aggression, Trudeau may feel increased pressure to take a firm stand. Conversely, if Canadians express concerns about the potential economic fallout from a trade conflict, the government may need to adopt a more cautious approach. Balancing public sentiment with the need to protect Canadian economic interests will be a critical challenge for Trudeau and his administration in the coming months. In addition to addressing immediate concerns regarding tariffs, Canada must also consider the long-term implications of its trade relationship with the U.S. The uncertainties surrounding U.S. trade policies necessitate a re-evaluation of Canada's economic strategies. Diversifying trade partners and exploring new markets could help mitigate the risks associated with over-reliance on the U.S. economy. Furthermore, Canada may need to invest in strengthening its domestic industries to enhance resilience against external shocks. By fostering innovation, investing in technology, and supporting small and medium-sized enterprises, Canada can bolster its economic position and reduce vulnerability to foreign trade policies. On Tuesday, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau made a resolute statement regarding the potential imposition of a 25% tariff on Canadian imports by U.S. President Donald Trump. This tariff, which Trump hinted could be enacted as soon as February, has raised significant concerns in Canada about the implications for the economy and the broader trade relationship between the two countries. The U.S. and Canada share one of the largest trading relationships in the world, with billions of dollars in goods and services exchanged daily. A 25% tariff on Canadian imports would not only disrupt this flow, but could also have severe repercussions for businesses and consumers in both countries. Many Canadian industries, including agriculture, manufacturing, and technology, rely heavily on access to the U.S. market. The introduction of such tariffs could lead to increased costs for Canadian exporters, making their products less competitive in the U.S. market. This, in turn, could result in job losses, economic instability, and a decrease in consumer purchasing power. The potential for retaliation is another significant concern. Trudeau's statement that everything is on the table implies that Canada is prepared to take a stand against any unjust trade practices. This could involve imposing tariffs on American goods, which would not only escalate tensions but could also lead to a trade war, an outcome that could have lasting consequences for both economies. A trade war between Canada and the United States would not only affect bilateral relations, but could also have ripple effects throughout the global economy. As two major players in international trade, any disruption between Canada and the U.S. could lead to instability in markets worldwide. Moreover, the agricultural sector in Canada could be particularly hard hit. Many Canadian farmers depend on exporting their products to the U.S., and tariffs could render their goods less competitive. This not only threatens their livelihoods, but could also lead to increased prices for consumers in both countries. Additionally, a trade war could impact supply chains that span multiple countries. Many businesses operate on a just-in-time basis, meaning they rely on timely deliveries of parts and materials from across the border. Any tariffs or trade barriers could disrupt these supply chains, leading to delays, increased costs, and reduced efficiency. In light of these challenges, Trudeau's cabinet retreat aimed to formulate a comprehensive strategy to mitigate the risks associated with potential tariffs. The discussions likely revolved around a multifaceted approach that includes diplomatic efforts, economic measures, and communication strategies to reassure Canadian businesses and citizens. One potential avenue for Canada is to engage in dialogue with U.S. officials, seeking to highlight the mutual benefits of their trading relationship. By emphasizing how Canadian industries contribute to the U.S. economy and create jobs, Trudeau and his team may aim to sway American policymakers against imposing tariffs. Furthermore, Canada could explore strengthening ties with other trading partners in response to the U.S. threat. By diversifying trade relationships and seeking new markets, Canada could reduce its dependency on the U.S. market. This approach could involve negotiating trade agreements with other countries or participating in international trade organizations that advocate for fair practices. As part of the strategic discussions, the Trudeau administration would also need to prepare for the economic disruption that could arise from U.S. tariffs. This preparation could include implementing support measures for affected industries, such as financial assistance for businesses facing increased costs or job losses. Moreover, the government may consider investing in initiatives that promote domestic production and innovation. By bolstering Canadian industries, the government can help ensure that the economy remains resilient in the face of external pressures. Effective communication during this time is crucial. Trudeau's government will need to keep Canadians informed about the potential impacts of U.S. tariffs and the measures being taken to address them. Transparency in government actions can help build public trust and confidence, which is essential for maintaining stability in the economy. Additionally, engaging with stakeholders, including business leaders and industry associations, can provide valuable insights into the challenges facing various sectors. By collaborating with these groups, the government can develop targeted strategies that address specific needs and concerns. The potential for tariffs and trade disputes highlights the fragility of the Canada-US relationship. While historically, the two nations have enjoyed a strong partnership characterized by shared values and mutual interests, recent developments have tested this bond. As Canada navigates the uncertain waters of U.S. trade policy, it will be essential to consider the long-term implications of these challenges. The relationship between Canada and the U.S. is not just about trade. It encompasses cultural, social, and political dimensions. A trade war could strain these ties and lead to lasting resentment on both sides. In conclusion, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's strong response to the potential imposition of tariffs reflects the seriousness of the situation facing Canada. The threat of a 25% tariff on Canadian imports poses significant risks to the economy, and Trudeau's commitment to a measured and reciprocal response underscores the importance of protecting national interests. The cabinet retreat serves as a critical moment for the Trudeau administration to strategize and prepare for the challenges ahead. By emphasizing diplomacy, economic resilience, and effective communication, Canada can navigate these turbulent waters while striving to maintain a constructive relationship with its closest neighbor. As the situation evolves, it will be essential for both Canadian and American leaders to engage in dialogue and seek compromises that benefit both nations. The future of Canada-US trade relations will depend on the ability of both sides to work collaboratively in addressing the complexities of a rapidly changing global economic landscape. By fostering a spirit of cooperation and understanding, Canada and the U.S. can emerge from this challenging period with a renewed commitment to a prosperous and mutually beneficial partnership. As they look ahead, the focus should remain on building a resilient and adaptable economy that can withstand the pressures of international trade and global competition. In summary, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's vow to respond strongly to any potential 25% tariffs imposed by the U.S. underscores the challenges facing Canada in its trade relationship with its southern neighbor. The potential for escalating tensions necessitates a strategic and multifaceted response that encompasses diplomatic engagement, public sentiment, and long-term economic planning. As Canada navigates this complex landscape, the importance of unity within the government, a proactive approach to diplomacy, and a commitment to protecting Canadian interests will be paramount. The future of U.S.-Canada trade relations will hinge on the ability of both nations to find common ground and work collaboratively toward mutually beneficial outcomes. Ultimately, the decisions made in the coming months will not only shape the immediate economic landscape, but also set the tone for the long-term partnership between Canada and the United States. As both countries grapple with the challenges of an evolving global economy, the need for constructive dialogue and cooperation remains more critical than ever.